The rain battered my windshield, each drop a tiny explosion in the dim glow of the streetlights. My phone sat in the passenger seat, its screen still lit with the message that had upended my life. St. Augustine's Church, 2 p.m. You need to see this. No name, no context, just a number I didn't recognize. My hand shook as I clutched the steering wheel, staring across the street at the old limestone church. Guests trickled in, their umbrellas bobbing like dark flowers in the storm. I'm Claire Donovan, and right now I'm parked outside a church in Philadelphia, feeling like I've stumbled into someone else's nightmare. My husband, Nathan, told me he was at a tech summit in Seattle. His assistant backed it up. His calendar confirmed it. Even the hotel reservation checked out. But here I am, 3,000 miles from where he's supposed to be, chasing a cryptic text from a stranger. Guardian angel or puppet master? I'm not sure yet, but the knot in my stomach says I'm about to find out. This is crazy, I muttered, my breath fogging the glass. But my hand was already reaching for my scarf, wrapping it tighter against the chill. The church bells tolled, low and heavy, vibrating through my bones. I stepped out, heels clicking on wet pavement, each step pulling me closer to something I wasn't sure I could face. The side door creaked as I slipped inside, finding cover behind a stone column. The air was thick with the scent of wax and old promises, and for a fleeting moment, I was back at my own wedding 8 years ago. Same church, same pews, different dreams. The organ hummed to life and my heart lurched. There he was. Nathan, my Nathan, standing at the altar in a charcoal suit I'd never seen. His fingers twitched, that nervous habit I'd memorized over years of late-night talks and quiet mornings. He wasn't in Seattle. He was here waiting. The bride appeared at the entrance, and the world tilted. Dark curls, warm brown eyes, that effortless grace I'd know anywhere. Lila Harper. My best friend since we were 10. The woman who'd cried with me through breakups and laughed with me over cheap wine. She glided down the aisle, her smile radiant, and I watched frozen as Nathan took her hand. Dearly beloved. The priest began, but his voice blurred into static. They exchanged vows, promises that echoed the ones Nathan had made to me, the ones Lila had toasted at our reception. No secrets we'd said as kids sprawled under the stars. No lies. Friends forever. The words tasted like ash now. I don't remember leaving. I don't remember driving home. But I remember sitting in our kitchen, Nathan's pride. All sleek marble and custom cabinets, watching the rain give way to dusk. My phone buzzed. Conference running late. Don't wait up. Nathan's name glowed on the screen, casual as ever. I poured myself a glass of his prized bourbon, the one he kept for closing deals. It burned going down, sharp and real, grounding me in a world that felt like a lie. Another text pinged from the unknown number. Now you know. What will you do? I laughed, and it sounded wrong, jagged, like something breaking. I opened my laptop and started typing. Dear Aunt Margaret, I've been thinking about that family reunion you mentioned. Betrayal isn't just the knife in your back. It's the months of smiles that hid it, the years of trust that made you blind. Nathan, my brilliant, charming Nathan, had always been a master at reading people, knowing exactly what they wanted to hear. But I'd learned to read him to every glance, every pause. I took another sip of bourbon and let the warmth fuel me. Let them have their secret vows, their stolen moments. I had time. I had their trust. And I had something they'd never see coming. The photo album lay open on my lap, its pages curling at the edges. There we were at 17, Nathan, Lila, and me, sprawled on the grass outside my parents' house, laughing at some stupid joke. Nathan's arm draped over both of us, his grin wide and reckless. The memory felt like a bruise, tender and discolored. I flipped the page and another photo stared back. Lila and me at prom, our dresses clashing gloriously, Nathan photobombed in the background with a goofy smirk. I'd thought we were untouchable then. A trio bound by secrets only we understood. Now those secrets were unraveling, and I wasn't sure what was left. Chinese is here. Nathan's voice echoed from downstairs, pulling me back to the present. His footsteps climbed the stairs, each one tightening the coil in my chest. He'd been home 4 days since the wedding, his other wedding acting like nothing had changed, like he hadn't rewritten our entire history. I closed the album as he walked into the bedroom, balancing 2 takeout containers. Thought we could use some comfort food, he said, his smile easy, practiced. I forced a nod, setting the album aside. Remember when we used to do this with Lila every weekend? The words slipped out, sharp and deliberate. His smile faltered just for a heartbeat. God, that feels like forever ago. He set the containers on the nightstand, avoiding my eyes. What made you think of that? Oh, I don't know. I stood, letting the album hit the floor with a thud. Maybe because I saw her 4 days ago. She hasn't changed a bit. His chopsticks paused midair, a flicker of something panic crossing his face before he smoothed it away. Claire, you okay? You seem off. I laughed, and it sounded like my mother's after she found out about Dad's affair. Bitter, unmoored. Off? That's one way to put it. I stepped closer, watching him tense. When did it start, Nathan? Before our wedding? After? Was I the placeholder, or just the alibi? He set his plate down, his expression shifting to that concerned frown he used on clients. You're not making sense, babe. Have you been drinking? Don't. My voice was steady now, cutting through his deflection. Don't play the worried husband. I was at St. Augustine's on Tuesday. Nice suit, by the way. Sharper than the one you wore for me. The mask slipped. His eyes went hard, calculating, the real Nathan peeking through. Claire, it's not what you think. Don't insult me. I held his gaze, refusing to flinch. I watched you marry my best friend while I was supposed to be your wife, waiting at home like an idiot. So tell me, what should I think? He ran a hand through his hair, a tell I'd cataloged years ago. It's complicated. There are things you don't understand. Like what? I stepped closer, my voice low. The offshore accounts you opened with Lila? The properties you bought together? Or maybe the fact that your mother knew the whole time? His face drained of color. How did you? I'm not the fool you think I am. I moved to the dresser, pulling out a folder I'd hidden beneath my sweaters. You should pick better passwords than our anniversary. Though I guess that date doesn't mean much to you anymore. I spread the documents on the bed. Bank statements, deeds, emails, evidence of a life he'd built behind my back. Or should we talk about the trust fund your mother set up for your kids with Lila? He stared at the papers, his jaw tight. You had no right to. No right. My voice broke, raw and furious. I'm your wife, Nathan. I was your friend. We grew up together, all three of us, and you. I stopped, catching my breath. You betrayed everything we were. He reached for the folder, but I snatched it back. We can work this out, he said, his tone softer now, pleading. I'll explain everything. Like you explained Seattle? I laughed again, colder this time. Get out. Claire, this is my house too. Not anymore. I pulled out one final document, the power of attorney he'd signed last year during a hectic work trip. You really should read what you signed, Nathan. Now leave, or I call my brother to drag you out. He left not because he was scared, but because he knew me. He knew this was just the start. The cafe smelled of espresso and regret, the same one where Lila and I used to trade secrets over croissants. Now it felt like a stage for a showdown. She slid into the booth across from me, her wedding ring glinting under the lights, a twin to mine, down to the delicate filigree. The sight of it made my stomach twist. I didn't think you'd show, she said, her fingers fidgeting with her napkin. Funny, I replied, my voice softer than I meant. I didn't think you'd marry my husband. She flinched, her eyes darting away. Claire, did you know about the trust fund? I slid a stack of bank statements across the table, watching her face. The one your mother-in-law set up for your future kids? Her hands froze, confusion flickering before anger took over. What trust fund? $3 million, I said, leaning back. For the grandchildren I apparently wasn't delivering fast enough. She scanned the papers, her breath hitching. This can't be right. Nathan said the marriage was just a formality, for his inheritance. He said. I cut her off with a laugh, sharp and hollow. What did he say, Lila? That he loved you? That I was distant, obsessed with my career? That's what he told his mother about me. Her head snapped up. How do you know that? Because I've spent the last week unraveling the lies our husband has been feeding us both. I pulled out my phone. Want to hear him discussing property deals with his mother? Using your family's real estate connections. My family. Her voice cracked. Her mother? Evelyn ran Harper Realty, one of the biggest firms in Philly. Nathan had always been charmingly curious about their business. Did you ever wonder why he picked us? I asked, my words deliberate. Two best friends loyal to a fault, the perfect cover for his plans. Stop it. She stood, her chair scraping against the floor. You're trying to hurt me because I hurt you. I get it, Claire, but… Sit down. My tone was calm, but it carried an edge that made her pause. You haven't heard the best part. She sat, more from shock than compliance. What? Remember that internship Nathan got you at your mom's firm? The one that made Evelyn adore him. I slid another document across the table. Check the date on this property transfer. Her hands trembled as she read. This is Mom's signature, but she'd never sell her waterfront lot for pennies. She didn't know she did. I pointed to the witness line. Recognize the notary? Her face crumpled as she saw her own handwriting. I was just signing papers for practice. Nathan said it was for my license. While you were planning your wedding, you were helping him steal from your own mother. The truth was bitter, but I didn't soften it. He played us both, Lila. The only difference is I figured it out. She looked at me, really looked, her eyes searching mine. What are you going to do? I stood, gathering the papers. Wrong question. The real question is, what are we going to do? She stared at the USB drive I placed on the table. A digital vault of everything I'd uncovered: Nathan's deals, Evelyn's losses, his mother's schemes. If this gets out, it's over. Everything. I placed my hand over hers, feeling the ring that mirrored mine. Then we hold the matches. Her fingers closed around the drive, and I saw a spark of the Lila I'd known, fierce, unbreakable. When do we start? I smiled, and it felt like the first real one in weeks. We already have. The dining room table was a war zone of documents, each one a piece of Nathan's betrayal. Four empty coffee mugs sat among the papers, my new vice since I'd sworn off bourbon. My phone buzzed. We need to talk. Please. Nathan again, his messages growing more desperate. I ignored it as another text came through from Lila. Evelyn's asking about the waterfront deal. We're running out of time. My hand shook, not from caffeine but from the weight of what we were planning. This wasn't just about exposing Nathan and Maria. It was about dismantling a legacy of lies that stretched back decades. The doorbell rang and my heart skipped. Only one person besides Nathan had a key. Claire, what the hell? My brother Ethan stepped inside, his eyes scanning the chaos. When's the last time you slept? I gestured at the papers. Did you know Nathan's father died under suspicious circumstances? Ethan froze. What? 12 years ago, right after Nathan passed the bar. I pulled out a faded article from Nathan's mother's files. They called it a boating accident, but look at these withdrawals. I handed him bank records. Millions moved from his company to offshore accounts days before. Jesus, Claire. Ethan sank into a chair. Does anyone else know? Just whoever's been feeding me tips. I tapped the burner phone on the table. They sent this today, Nathan's father's real will, disinheriting his mother, Charlotte. Ethan's jaw tightened. He tried to stop them, didn't he? And paid for it. My voice cracked. I'm becoming them, Ethan. All this planning, this obsession with revenge, I'm turning into the monster I'm fighting. You're not. He reached for my hand, but I pulled back. You're protecting people, Evelyn, Lila, yourself. Am I? I paced, my voice rising. Or am I so hellbent on destroying Nathan that I don't care who gets hurt? His sister's kids lose their trust funds if I expose Charlotte. Evelyn's firm could tank, costing jobs. I'm planning to blow it all up at Margaret's reunion, knowing it'll ruin innocent people. Like who? Like Nathan's father, who died trying to do the right thing while I'm plotting some grand vendetta like a damn movie villain. Ethan stood, taking the empty mug from my hand. You want to know the difference between you and them? You're losing sleep over this. They're not. That doesn't make it right. No, it doesn't. He started organizing the papers, his movements precise. But it means you have a choice. You can go full scorched earth at the reunion, or we do this smart, legally, carefully. The burner phone buzzed. Ask Charlotte about the Cayman accounts. I stared at it, then at the mess of my life spread across the table. Okay, I said finally. Show me how to do this right. Ethan's lawyer, Marcus Tate, spread documents across his polished desk, each one a thread in Charlotte's web. The Cayman accounts are just the start, he said. Her schemes tie back to Nathan's grandfather, 3 generations of fraud. How many people get hurt if we pull the thread? My voice felt distant, detached. Directly? About 40 trust beneficiaries, mostly kids. Indirectly? Marcus shrugged. Hundreds. Jobs, investments, reputations. Ethan leaned forward. But we can prove it, right? Easily, Marcus said. The question is whether you should. I stared at a list of names, children whose medical care and educations depended on those trusts. My phone buzzed. Evelyn found the waterfront deed. She's meeting Charlotte tomorrow. Lila's words tightened the noose. We're out of time, Ethan said, reading the message. If Evelyn confronts her, it's over anyway. There has to be another way, I said, moving to the window. Philly's skyline glittered, unaware of the storm brewing. How long to protect the kids? Weeks, maybe months, Marcus replied. We'd need. The door flew open. Charlotte stood there, her silver hair impeccable, her eyes blazing. I should have known you'd drag Ethan into this, Claire. Marcus started. How did you? My assistant saw you, Charlotte snapped, ignoring him. You think you're saving anyone? You're destroying families just like Nathan's father tried. The air grew heavy. What did you say? My hands gripped the chair. Thomas thought he could fix it too, Charlotte said, her voice icy. Moved funds to protect the trusts. Look what it cost him. You stopped him. The pieces clicked. Thomas's accident. The sudden wealth transfers. It wasn't a boating mishap, was it? Her eyes flicked away just for a second. The point, Claire, is that some systems can't be undone without ruining everything they hold up. You're not just fighting Nathan or Mayuri, fighting decades of necessity. Necessity. I stepped closer. Like marrying me for my family's legal connections? Judges, Diaz, your perfect shield. My phone buzzed. Evelyn's name. Charlotte's gaze softened, predatory. Answer it. Hear Evelyn learn what her daughter's done. Watch another family break. She slid an envelope across the desk. Or we discuss options. Eli, don't, Ethan warned. What options? My heart pounded, but my voice held firm. A clean exit, Charlotte said. Generous settlement. The kids stay protected. Everyone walks away. Everyone except Justice, Ethan snapped. Charlotte laughed, sharp and cold. Ask Claire what she wants, justice or peace. My phone kept buzzing. Lila's texts piling up. Evelyn's calls relentless. The list of names stared at me, innocent futures hanging in the balance. How long do I have? Until Evelyn reads those deeds, Charlotte said, moving to the door. Choose carefully, Claire. Unlike Thomas, you still can. She left, and the room felt like it was closing in. You're not seriously considering this, Ethan said. I picked up the envelope. Its weight a challenge. What if she's right? What if fighting this hurts more than it helps? That's fear talking, Ethan said. Maybe fear's trying to tell me something. The phone went silent, but I knew whatever Evelyn had found, it was already too late to stop. The Harper estate glowed against the twilight, its windows like eyes watching my approach. Cars lined the drive, family, friends, all gathered for what they thought was Evelyn's 60th birthday gala. Ethan stood beside me, clutching a briefcase stuffed with evidence, every lie, every deal, every betrayal. Last chance to turn back, he said. Lila appeared, her face pale. They're all inside. Evelyn's suspicious, Nathan's on edge. I smoothed my black dress, feeling Charlotte's envelope tucked against my chest. Exit secure? Marcus has people at every door, Ethan said. Once you start, no one leaves. We slipped through the service entrance, the kitchen buzzing with caterers oblivious to the storm about to break. Nathan spotted me in the foyer, his smile flickering. Claire, you came. His eyes darted to the briefcase, to Lila, to Ethan. Wouldn't miss it, I said, my voice honeyed with venom. Evelyn's voice rang out, calling everyone to the ballroom. The crowd moved, carrying us along. I saw familiar faces, Evelyn, composed but tense. Charlotte, radiant and untouchable. Nathan's cousin holding her kids' hands. The kids. My stomach twisted. Ladies and gentlemen, Evelyn began, raising a glass. But I stepped forward, my voice cutting through the murmurs. I'd like to say something first. Nathan moved toward me, but Ethan blocked him. Lila stayed near Evelyn, her hands clenched. Claire, Charlotte warned, her tone a blade. I pulled out the envelope, still sealed. I've been thinking a lot about truth, I said, addressing the room. About who deserves it, and who it destroys. Claire, don't, Nathan pleaded, his voice raw. I know everything, I continued, opening the briefcase but not touching the papers. About Thomas's death. About the trusts. About your 2 marriages, Nathan. About Charlotte's lies. The room erupted in gasps. Evelyn stepped forward, her face gray. Lila, what's she talking about? I'm sorry, Mom, Lila whispered. I didn't know until Claire showed me. Showed you what? Nathan's cousin demanded. I looked at the kids, their wide eyes piercing me. The truth, I said softly, is that I came here to burn it all down, to expose decades of fraud, to get justice for everyone hurt by the Harper and Donovan lies. I pulled out a document, Thomas's real will. Charlotte froze. But then I struck a match, the flame catching the envelope first, then the briefcase. No. Ethan lunged, but the papers were already alight, years of evidence turning to ash. Sprinklers hissed, chaos erupted, guests fled. Through the smoke I met Charlotte's eyes. She thought she'd won, thought I'd chosen her deal. But I pulled out my phone and hit send. The kitchen was a battlefield, Charlotte and me facing off across the marble island, both of us soaked from the sprinklers. Police lights flashed outside, officers carting away boxes, the real evidence, not the decoys I'd burned. Copies, I said, my voice low. Everything in that briefcase was a duplicate. The originals went to the FBI 2 hours ago. Charlotte's nails tapped the counter, her composure cracking. You planned this, the party, the drama. Like Thomas. I slid Thomas's will toward her. He wanted to expose you at your 25th anniversary, didn't he? Before the accident. Her tapping stopped. Outside, Nathan was cuffed, Ethan watching with quiet triumph. You've destroyed everything, Charlotte said, her voice trembling. Those trusts are safe. I showed her the court orders. Every innocent beneficiary is protected. The kids keep their futures. Fear flickered in her eyes. How? I had weeks, I said, leaning forward. Weeks where you thought you'd won. Did you think I'd just sit there? Evelyn entered, flanked by agents, her gaze locked on Charlotte. You killed him, she said, her voice flat. Thomas tried to protect Lila from your schemes, and you killed him. Charlotte's chair toppled as she stood. That's absurd. You used Lila to access Harper Realty. I cut in. Manipulated Nathan to marry us both to hide your fraud. Everything I did was for family. Charlotte snapped. No, Lila said, stepping forward, tears streaking her face. It was for you. I slid a final piece across the Count-era photo. Charlotte froze. Thomas wasn't just exposing the money, was he? He found out about Nathan's real father, Evelyn's father. Your affair, 38 years ago. Evelyn gasped, snatching the photo. That's my dad. With Charlotte. 9 months before Nathan was born, I confirmed. Decades of lies, all to hide one secret. You've ruined us, Charlotte whispered. No, I said, standing. You did that when you chose lies over love. Thomas tried to save us. And now he has. My phone buzzed, one last message from the unknown number. A scheduled email from Thomas, set to deliver years after his death. Keep going, Claire. The truth is worth it. As they led Charlotte away, I met Nathan's eyes through the window. He knew now everything. Was it worth it? Charlotte asked, her voice faint. I thought of the kids safe, of Lila and Evelyn free, of Thomas finally heard. Some things, I said, are worth burning for. The sun rose over the Harper estate, casting long shadows across the lawn. Ethan squeezed my shoulder. You okay? I watched Charlotte's car disappear, a lifetime of secrets crumbling in her wake. No, I said honestly. But I will be. The last box from Nathan's office sat on my kitchen counter. I lifted the lid, expecting more lies, but found a battered journal, Nathan's from college. I flipped it open, and there we were in his messy scrawl. Claire laughs like she's daring the world to break her. Lila's the spark that keeps us burning. How do I choose? He hadn't, not really. He just twisted us both to fit his plans. The doorbell rang. Lila stood there, holding a matching journal, hers. Found it in Mom's attic. We set them side by side, relics of who we'd been. Did you read his plea? She asked. No, I poured coffee, the ritual grounding me. You. He said he loved us both. Her laugh was brittle. I think he meant it. That's Nathan, I said, sliding her cup over. Believing his own lies. She touched her journal, hesitant. We should read them. Before Mom gets here. Evelyn's meeting wasn't just about healing, it was about Harper Realty, about trust, about whether we could rebuild. I opened Nathan's journal again. His words a window to a boy I'd loved before he became a stranger. He didn't break us, I said, closing it. He just showed us who we were. What do you mean? You always chase dreams. I needed control. He used that, but it's still us. Her coffee sat untouched. And now we choose, I said. Not revenge or justicious. Evelyn arrived, her eyes softer but stronger, free from Charlotte's shadow. She spread plans across the table, not for revenge, but for renewal. Lila and I shared a look, remembering other plans, other truths. Ready? Evelyn asked. I thought of Thomas leaving truths to find us years later, of Charlotte trapped by her own lies, of Nathan loving us both and neither. Yes, I said, and meant it. Because sometimes the best revenge isn't destruction, it's freedom.
If you were the one in this story, how would you react? Would you stand up and fight back, or accept the unreasonable pressure and control from the HOA? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this video with more people. Your small action gives us the motivation to keep bringing you more intense and engaging stories. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.